Hello.
Then. Now.
Showdown to the queens.
Episode number 500.
Forever.
Looks like hell throws over.
Without any more further ado,
Together.
let's jump straight into the show.
So, guess who's had their mic muted that entire fucking time? The second straight episode of SmackDown this shit has happened on. Okay, so, to catch you up to speed, the only segment you've missed is the opening segment involving Queendom, Omega, and Kairi. Cammy saying that they beat Io and they beat Dakota and Candice, so there's only Asuka standing in their path. And then it was made official that Utami would defend against Asuka at the Royal Rumble. Kairi came out, Cammy called her a loser again, basically. And to deliver a message to Asuka that the Royal Rumble will end up being the worst night of her life, as well as Kairi's. So yeah, the main takeaway from the opening segment was that the match at the Rumble is now officially set as Utami defending against Asuka. Fucking Jesus. Hopefully next week's SmackDown goes off perfectly without a fucking hitch. Anyway, directly after the opening segment, we cut to Kayla interviewing Io backstage. And Io says that Asuka, she earned her shot at the Women's World Championship. And at the Royal Rumble, she's going to dethrone Utami and become the Women's World Champion. And then Asuka will hold that championship until WrestleMania because Io is going to get her championship back at WrestleMania, whether it's Asuka as the champion or not. Because she's going to enter and win the Royal Rumble. She has to earn her shot to get her championship back. And she's going to do that by winning the Rumble. And then she walks away, and Candice LeRae walks into frame, and Kayla's like, Candice, can I help you? How are you doing? She goes, did that bitch just declare for the Royal Rumble? Kayla goes, Io, yeah. Io just declared for the Women's Royal Rumble match. She goes, oh, I see what she's trying to do. Okay, well, let me make one thing perfectly clear, okay? Io is not going to win the Royal Rumble. Okay, because I won't allow her to win the Royal Rumble. You're looking at a former Royal Rumble winner right in front of you right now, Kayla. Okay, I know what it takes to win the Royal Rumble and main event WrestleMania. Io does not. So, Io is not going to win the Royal Rumble because I'm entering the Royal Rumble. And I'm going to win the Royal Rumble and get my next opportunity at the World Championship at WrestleMania. But, more importantly, I'll make it my personal mission that Io does not win the Royal Rumble. Because, apparently, a lot of people around here have lost their heads, and I am the only person who knows to keep that championship out of her clutches. So, as long as I'm in the Women's Royal Rumble match this year, Io Sky has no shot at winning. And she walks away. 86 rated opening match. We'll take that. Charlotte loses to Shayna Baszler in 1801 by pinfall. 86 for Charlotte, 81 for Shayna. So yeah, big win for Shayna here. This is the match we've been building, basically. This is like the end game of the Charlotte and Ariana Grace versus the Fierce and the Fabulous feud. And yeah, it's a big win for Shayna. They sniff around the tag team titles a lot. The timing has just never come for me to pull the trigger on them winning the belts. There was a scenario once where I was going to have them be the ones to dethrone Becky and Lyra, but then I fell into the New Millennium stuff with Punk instead, and that felt better, so I didn't do it then. But I have considered putting the belts on them. They are still an important fixture of the women's division, and whilst they're not factored into championship plans, I want to keep them strong and give them wins. And Charlotte can take the defeat, especially in the midst of her, slow babyface turn, I guess. So yeah, Shayna gets a big win over the Queen here tonight. We then get a Labyrinth promo. And they're talking, what was all that shite with the Miz? And I go, it's Miz being Miz. He looks for any way to cling on to relevancy here on SmackDown because I think he knows his stars fading as more and more young rising superstars make their way up from NXT, including us. So he tried to take us out of the game, he tried to take our mind off what we're here to do by, appealing to our hobbies and our personal interests, and don't make one thing perfectly clear, there's only one thing that me and Nathan are here to do on SmackDown. And that's not find treasure or the Holy Grail or make friends with Mike the Miz. It's to become WWE Tag Team Champions, because that is the true prize. That is the true treasure that being a professional wrestler is all about. We're former NXT Tag Team Champions. We came up here, one of the top rising tag teams in WWE. But we haven't found much success over the past few months, but make one thing perfectly clear. 2025 is the year of the Labyrinth. And there's going to be no more funny business with The Miz. He can walk around looking for as many friends as he wants. That ain't our business. The Motor City Machine Guns, however, they are our business. Pretty Deadly, the Hurt Business, anybody that wants those championships, they are our business. And we'll be seeing them very soon. We then cut backstage. Pete Dunne's there. I don't know if we've seen him since he lost to Bryan. This might be his first appearance since then. He goes, what's he doing? Daniel Bryan. The last chance, okay, the final countdown of the American Dragon. And here he is, making us all look like fools. Every single one of us. We almost ended his career a couple of months ago. Now here he is getting this big final ride, this final swan song. How has this been allowed to happen? What we need to do is we need to get back out there and we need to teach Daniel Bryan a lesson of what really happens when you mess with us. That's when Carmelo Hayes just walks in the frame laughing. He goes, Pete, man, I was with y'all a couple of months ago. I almost took, it was actually me who nearly ended Bryan's career, but who's keeping score, of course. But I was with you all those months ago trying to take Daniel Bryan out, but come on, man. You're just looking sad now. And you're trying to take credit for hurting Bryan and nearly ending his career. That was all on me. Okay? You got that shot Survivor Series of Bryan because of me, okay? Now you're sitting there bitching and whining and complaining. Why don't you do something about it, okay? You want to prove to Daniel Bryan that you're better than he is? Get out there tonight and prove him wrong. Prove that you deserve that opportunity to try and end his career. Because otherwise, he's going to walk around there, he's going to chant, yes, 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 these people are going to buy into his crap. And he's mocking you. And Pete Dunne goes, you're right, Mello. So tonight, Gresh and Dante, we're going to finally make our mark in this tag team division. Mello just laughs and goes, attaboy, Pete. Just make sure they don't choke like, you guys used to. And he goes, why don't you go away? Who even invited you here? And he goes, I'm just checking in on my old friends, Pete. Seems you're not doing too good. So yeah, Mello, stirring shit with Pete Dunne. Then see Angelo Dawkins. He makes his way to the ring ahead of his match. And he goes, well, SmackDown 2025, gonna be a big year for the Blue Brand. And do you know why that is? It's because this is finally the year that the Golden Prophet, Angelo Dawkins, makes his mark on this godforsaken roster. Okay, the Royal Rumble match is coming up in just under a month, and I'm going to win that and punch my ticket to WrestleMania. And I'm going to win the World Championship, just like Tez did. Because only one of us is the true Golden Prophet, and Tez, you didn't want to see him at Cyber Sunday because, he ain't deserve a championship match. But that was Angelo Dawkins, and that was the Golden Prophet in those polls for Cyber Sunday. I would have won him. So check it. I don't even care who it is back there. Anybody on this SmackDown roster who wants to come and get this smoke, I got the smoke. Come and catch it. It's Jacob Fatu. The Samoan werewolf is the man who comes out and answers Angelo Dawkins' open challenge, and of course his expression changes because he does not want to fight Jacob Fatu. And that match gets an 87 despite the finish. Nice. And yeah, he gets the jump on Jacob, I imagine, before the bell rings, and starts raining punches down on him. But Jacob eventually starts getting the upper hand. He starts tossing Dawkins around, and then eventually Angelo Dawkins just walks out on the match. Yeah, he ain't having that. But he needs to keep himself fresh, you know. He hasn't declared for the Royal Rumble officially, but, like, you know, he could still be in it. But in his mind, he needs to keep himself fresh because he plans to win the Royal Rumble and go to WrestleMania. And wrestling Jacob Fatu, you know, is an absolute waste of energy for him. 72 for Dawkins, 86 for Jacob Fatu. After the match, Jacob Fatu grabs a microphone. And he goes, SmackDown, Raw, ECW, any Hall of Famers, NXT, you all better watch your back. Because 29 other men are gonna win the Royal Rumble. But only one, Samoan Werewolf, is gonna ravage the Royal Rumble. And I'm the one who's gonna get my hand raised. And I'm the one who's gonna go to WrestleMania. So yeah, Jacob Fatu, the next man to declare himself for the Royal Rumble. But then as he leaves, he crosses paths with the World Heavyweight Champion Bobby Lashley. You know, Lashley's making his way out, and Jacob Fatu, him and Lashley have a stare down on the ramp. And Jacob sort of like mouths off at him and goes, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for the championship. I'm going to win the Rumble, and I'm coming for you. And Lashley sort of just like watches him as he walks away. But yes, the Hurt Business are out here next. Hurt Business, promo segment. Ricochet is, you know, he's in his silly little glasses, but he's still putting on a brave face. But he knows he fucked up at Cyber Sunday. And MVP goes, well, the Hurt Business' run of domination here on SmackDown sure was fun while it lasted. Because, unfortunately for you all, I deliver you bad news, as you can clearly see with your own two eyes. There is a loser in our ranks. And he turns to Ricochet about his belt, and he goes, our newest member of the Hurt Business, Ricochet, despite everything going against him, had been a very worthwhile investment for me and the rest of the Hurt Business in recent weeks when he took that United States Championship away from Sami Zayn. And it looked like all things were coming up for the Hurt Business. You know, Ricochet was the United States Champion, and the Almighty became the World Heavyweight Champion. And soon, Damon Kemp and Ronnie Hughes were going to make their mark on those tag team titles, but we couldn't even get that far. Because Ricochet lost his United States Championship to a man who he claimed he was better than, to Big Bronson Reed. Now, those of you who remember the Hurt Business 3 years ago, I like Bronson. Back then, when the Cyclone broke up, it was Big Bronson Reed who took that Hurt business card, and he signed up for what we were doing around here. Didn't work out too well for him, but I respect that he wanted it, and he wanted more for his career. But with the Hurt Business booming more than it's ever boomed before right now, you'd think we'd be able to do better than Big Bronson Reed. But it turns out no, because he squished a member of our own. He took a championship away from us. And that, quite frankly, Ricochet, Trevor, is unacceptable. And Ricochet takes the mic and goes, look, P. He's like, huh, P. Anyway, and MVP just sort of like glares off him and goes, you better make this good, kid. He goes, I'm saying, I wasn't ready at Cyber Sunday, okay? If they had Duke Hudson's name up on that board, I could have wrestled Duke Hudson. I was prepared for him, you know. These guys, they love Chase University, and I thought him being the hero of Chase University would get him all those votes, and he'd be the one up facing for the United States Championship. I wasn't ready for Big Bronson. I wasn't ready for him at all. But, P, I'll tell you this. The next time me and Big Bronson Reed are in the ring together, I will be ready for him. And I'll get us back our United States Championship. You dig? And FP goes, not really. Just get it done. That's when Bronson Reed comes out. He goes, Ricochet. Of course you got your excuses lined up. I knew you would. You know, because usually when a guy comes in here and gets squashed by a tsunami by big Bronson Reed, he doesn't need excuses, because that's one big old man flying off the top rope and flattening you like a pancake. And after months of debating whether or not I should even put my hands on you, my former friend, I'm so glad I made the right choice, and the right choice was shutting your ass up and taking that United States Championship, because every single person in this arena right now would love to do that to you for the man that you've become in recent weeks. That's rude. You're just jealous, Bronson. He goes, jealous? I'm jealous because last time I checked, I'm the one standing here United States Champion, not you. And he goes, man, shut your dumb ass up, okay? If you want to prove that you're a big tough guy, Big Bronson, come and get in this ring right now and face off with the Hurt Business. And Bronson Reed just laughs and goes, I said I'm a big tough guy, not a dumb guy, okay? I'm not going to go in there by myself. I don't care how many of you, how big I am and how tough I am. There's 4 of you. I'll get my bloody ass kicked. But luckily there's 4 of me as well. When Sami Zayn comes out, the Revolution come out, and Ilya Dragunov comes out, and they storm the ring. They actually outnumber the Hurt Business, you know, because there's 3 members of the Revolution, so yeah. And Ilya Dragunov takes the mic. He goes, one crack has formed in your little group, but now we must tear more holes in the organization. Tonight, you 4 against us in an 8-man tag team match. Us being Ilya, Bronson, Sammy, and Buster, not Nebo and Rufus. So yes, there's our main event. 8-man tag team match. The Hurt Business take on their latest group of ops. We then see Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin backstage. Alex and Chris, last week you captured back your WWE Tag Team Championships. You know, you won them so shortly after arriving here in WWE, only to have Pretty Deadly take them away from you of that Money in the Bank cash-in. Now that's not a factor anymore. You now get to officially reign as the WWE Tag Team Champions. And they go, you know, for the first time in history, you know, we've been here for, 3 months, and we've already made history. The first team to ever have to deal with a Money in the Bank cash-in. It's not fun, Kayla. But let me tell you, it's an experience that we needed, because winning the championship so soon, we could have got complacent. But having them stolen away from us only fired us up more to go win them back, and now here we stand, 2-time WWE Tag Team Champions. And the division around us is on fire right now. You look at the Hurt Business, you look at Shark KO, you look at Pretty Deadly, the Creed Brothers are still around. The Labyrinth, earlier on we saw them declaring their shot for our championships. There's a lot of great young, talented tag teams here on SmackDown, and we look forward to working with every single one of them. That's when Andre Chase and Duke Hudson walk in. He goes, don't mean to interrupt you boys. You know, I've got a lot of respect for you. One of the greatest tag teams of our generation. But, you see, Thea last week, she got her shot at the Liberty Championship. She came up short, but for what she did in helping revive Andre Chase University, she more than deserved an opportunity of that. Which is why we put Duke up for nominations at Cyber Sunday. And while Duke may not have won the polls, he's won our hearts here at Andre Chase University. So, it is with that me and Duke have decided to officially enter the SmackDown Tag Team division. Maybe we'll see you boys down the road one day. I'm like, yeah, maybe. And then they walk off. So yeah, declarative statement from Andre Chase and Duke Hudson. You know, they now want to enter the mix to try and become the Tag Team Champions. And of course, the Mercy Machine Guns are the new champions after winning them from Pretty Deadly last week. 59. Sure, we'll take that. It's just a women's mid-card tag team match just thrown onto the show because I wanted to give them something to do. Shotzi and Raquel defeat the Learning Trees, Zeta Steel and Kaya Saint. Shotzi pinning Kaya with a roll-up, apparently, in 7 minutes and 28. 61 for Shotzi, 68 for Raquel, 36 for Zeta, and a 25 for Kaya Saint. But yeah, Shotzi and Raquel are the two floating babyfaces in the division. Even the more I add women, I still don't have enough depth on the SmackDown side, I don't think. But, I refuse to call more people up, so I should just use the ones I have. Shotzi only came back quite relatively recently as well, so yeah. Her and Raquel can do some things for a bit. Sure. Speaking of women depth, we get a Fatal Influence video package or whatever, promo segment after that. It's like one of those video packages that doubles up as a promo. They do them in NXT a lot. And they go, we have been wrongfully slotted here on SmackDown. Okay? Ever since we came together, everybody thinks they've got us pigeonholed into what we should be and what they think we are. Oh, they're just the new version of this. They're just a B-Tech version of that. Wish.com version of this. We're nothing like any of these teams. We know exactly who we are because we call ourselves the Influence because it is true. Look around. Everybody on this SmackDown roster from the top to the bottom has had to go through us. Io gets her opportunities because she faced off against us. Charlotte, of all people, gets opportunities against us. This division, it may be headed by Queendom Omega, but it revolves around Fatal Influence. Zelina Vega, Fallon Henley, Aaliyah. This is a trio that you think you'd want to see in your dreams, but it turns out that you actually see it in your nightmares. Because this division is on notice. We are coming, and our influence will only grow as we do. We then see Pretty Deadly in Nicholas's office, and they're furious. They go, what do you think you're doing, Nicholas? Last week was an absolute robbery of the highest order. Okay, first of all, you invite fancy celebrity guest Vanessa Hudgens, who has rejected our proposal for Pretty Deadly the musical countless times, might I add. She's left Tonya on red countless times, might I add, to SmackDown, just to throw us off our game, knowing that the issues we've had with this woman after all these weeks trying to get her onto our cause. And then you have her jump the barricade, putting her hands on Tonya Breeze. She's not even a legal competitor here. She's a celebrity guest. And that costs us our WWE Tag Team Championships. I absolutely think not, Nicholas. You need to revalue how you're running things here on SmackDown, because we demand our rematch, and we demand our rematch right this second. And Nick goes, well, unfortunately, Elton, Kit, I can't give you your rematch right this second. I go, well, yes, you can. You can do whatever you want. You're the SmackDown GM. Because, well, we've got two tag teams already looking to, break into the tag team division tonight. We've got Chase U against the Dragon's Dojo coming up later on tonight. So maybe one of those will be the next team in line for the championships. I go, what? Chase bloody you over the former champions? You've got to be taking the piss, Nicholas. He goes, I'm not, okay? If you want your rematch, to be quite frank, you had that Money in the Bank briefcase. You didn't even really earn the championships in the first place. If you want your rematch, go out there and earn them. Like every other tag team. You haven't heard the last of us, Nicholas. This is absolute disrespect of the highest order. You will be hearing from us again. And they leave, and he goes, okay, well, I'm not scared, it's Pretty Deadly. Oh my god. Holy shit. Thank you, Jonathan Gresham. You went the fuck in. Okay. But, yes, Chase U do pick up the win. In 8:58, Duke Hudson pinning Jonathan Gresham with a lunch cutter. 64 for Duke, 65 for Andre Chase, 84 for Gresham, and a 70 for Dante Rios. But yes, nice win for Chase U. They've entered the tag team division after their revival, I guess. And could we be looking at the next WWE Tag Team Champions? But, they're celebrating. They're throwing the U's up. Chase U, Chase U, Chase U, Chase U. And they're jumped by Pretty Deadly. Pretty Deadly pick them up. They lay into Andre and Duke with some sort of weapon. I don't know what. Maybe chairs. And, we sort of get a more vicious side of Pretty Deadly. They take Andre Chase out, they hit the spilt milk on Duke Hudson on a steel chair, and they leave them laying, and they just storm to the back. They go, we'll show you about, earning our rematch. If we take every other tag team out, you'll have no choice but to give us our rematch. We then go to ads after that. And when we come back, you see Pete Dunne backstage with the rest of the Dragon's Dojo. He goes, what was that? We're supposed to make our statement together, alone, without Brian, and you're going out there losing. You're not doing us any favours here, boys. Carmelo Hayes walks in the frame just laughing. He goes, hey, look, there's these guys. They lost again. You know what? I understand why you wanted to keep the Dragon's Dojo name, despite Brian not being in the group no more. It's because without any ties to Daniel Bryan, you guys are losers. He goes, who are you laughing at? Okay. Melo, last time I checked, you haven't been winning much around here either. He goes, well, check it. I may not have been winning much around here lately, but you see, here's the thing the difference between you and I, Pete, is that I'm him. I can, with a snap of my fingers, put anybody down and make a statement and remind the world who the hell I am. I'm a former world champion. You're a former world champion. We're both former world champions. My reign lasted many months, Pete. How long did yours last? Oh, that's right. About 5 minutes. And why was that, Pete, huh? Oh, you got cashed in on. Damn. Well, whoever cashed in on you must have been real smart, huh? Because they saw the weakest world heavyweight champion in the lineup of all time and took that opportunity and made themselves a star from it. You've always been a loser, Pete. You ain't never been on my level. And this is just proving it. So, yeah, Carmelo Hayes continuing to stick it to Pete Dunne. I've noticed something halfway through here. Carmelo Hayes is intended to be the babyface in this feud, but he's low-key cooking Pete Dunne too much for him to be the babyface. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll pivot, but, Melo was the one this feud was supposed to be for, because he was the one that I looked at. I was like, I haven't really done much with him recently, so I want to give him something relatively substantial to sink his teeth into. And as a heel, he's fought basically everybody on this roster, so I thought, yeah, let's turn him face and see. I think people will be ready to cheer him in this game by now. And turns out he's cooked Pete Dunne too much that he might have just, turned himself heel again. But we'll see, because, Pete Dunne is a dickhead. Carmelo Hayes is a charismatic dickhead. There's a difference. You can be as LA Knight proved this against Wes Lee. You can be as much of a dickhead as you want. So long as we like you, then it doesn't really matter. We then get to a backstage interview with the New Day. And Kayla Braxton says, later, but I'm once again with the New Day. Still only Kofi Kingston and Big E by my side here tonight. We still haven't heard hair from Xavier Woods since Saturday night's main event, since he lost the World Heavyweight Championship. Have you? And Big E goes, I've not, Kayla. But I think I know the universal language that will get us across to Woods. I need to prove to Woods that I was sorry. I need to find Neville. And I need to beat his ass. And Kofi goes, whoa, let's not make any rash decisions around here, okay? And he goes, I need to beat his ass, Kof. He's been a thorn in our side. He's trying to drive us apart. But all he's doing is uniting us even more, because we know we need to beat his ass, Kof. Kofi goes, well, without Woods, we can't rush into things so recklessly, come on, let's take a time, let's take a sit on it, and we'll come up with something, but we really need to get a hold of Woods, ideally. And then Big E does walk away with Kofi, and Kelly goes, well, Neville is in action later on tonight, so we will see him. 90. Okay, nice. Ember Moon against Ali Maikawa. Just to get Ember a nice win, really, because, she's another one that, she's still, in the midst of the Queendom Omega orbit, I guess, but she can start doing her own thing and just branching off and doing her own matches. But yeah, she beats Ali Maikawa with a top rope stunner in 11:21. 79 for Ember Moon, 92 for Aoi Maikawa. So yes, huge win for Ember. Well, performance-wise. They're probably about the same in popularity, to be fair. Then see an Asuka video package. It's her, in her dark room with her face paint on, training. She's kicking like a punching bag, a heavy bag, or whatever. And she's training for her match at the Royal Rumble. And she says, Utami, you have never been ready for Asuka. I've always been better than you. When we were tag team champions last year, it was because of me. And now, when you're not Women's World Champion anymore after the Royal Rumble, that will also be because of me. Because you aren't and never will be ready for Asuka. Then see Ember Moon, walking backstage after her victory when she bumps into Candice. She goes, hey Ember, how you holding up? She goes, great, Candice, I'm glad I bumped into you, actually. She goes, well, first of all, where's Dakota at? And she goes, I don't know. I haven't heard from her since Cyber Sunday. And Ember goes, yeah, I did see all of that went down. Tough love. And I'm sure you'll get a better luck next time against Utami and the World Champion. But I was proud to see you stick up for yourself. Obviously I love both you and Dakota. And I'm sure whichever one of you is the better woman would end up being the Women's World Champion in that match. But it's nice to see you actually stand up for yourself and take something for yourself, because people have been walking over you for far too long. And I know that you don't notice it, and, all you do is apologize for what you do and when you snap and it gets too much. But people are taking advantage of you, whether it be Dakota Kai or EO or Queendom Omega or everybody from every single angle. Candice LeRae, you are not a walking mat. You're a Royal Rumble winner, a WrestleMania main eventer. You need to start standing up for yourself. Standing by yourself. Believing in yourself more. Not trying to appease everybody around you. Because that's how you end up falling down to the wayside. And you're too good for that. Okay? And Candice is like, wow, I didn't expect life advice from Ember Moon backstage on Friday Night SmackDown after her match, but I guess you're right. I guess I try too hard to make everybody happy. And Ember's like, well, there's nothing wrong with that, But here's the tough lesson you do have to learn, Candice. You can't make everybody happy. So you've got to pick who you want to make happy. Is it the people? Is it yourself? Is it both of those? Is it Dakota? Is it you and Dakota? But you can't manage all this stuff for too long. Sooner or later, you gotta start doing things for Candice LeRae. And she goes, thanks, Ember. I'll take it on board. She goes, great. And I'll see you in the Royal Rumble. But you're not going to take that for Candice LeRae, because I'm taking that for me, Ember Moon. Okay? And Candice goes, sure. So yeah, Ember Moon in the Royal Rumble, as well as Candice and Io. Another 90. Neville, I just wanted to get him back into the ring. He hasn't wrestled in... I don't think he's wrestled since... Would it have been Bad Blood, I think? Yeah. The Fatal 4-Way with him and Sammy and Corbin and Grayson Waller, yeah. So yeah, he beats Angel Garza with a red arrow in 10 minutes and 12. 95 for Neville, 84 for Angel Garza. And then after the match, Neville, I say celebrating. He's, just taking in his victory. He's just sort of just walking around scowling like only Neville can. When the New Day's music hits, and the bastard, turns his face to the ramp to await the New Day coming to the ring. And it's Big E, it's just Big E, he's charging out. He's ready to get his hands on Neville. Kofi's behind him, trying to tell him, no, relax. But Big E storms into the ring. Him and Neville get into a brawl. You know, he tosses Neville over his head with a big belly to belly. He tosses him over his head with another big belly to belly. He pulls his straps down. He gets Neville up for the big ending. And Neville manages to rake Big E in the eyes. He, like, stamps on the back of his knee. Big E goes down. Neville grounds the big man. He continues to, like, stamp on all his limbs, taking him out. And he locks him in the brutalizer. Kofi Kingston gets into the ring. He, like, tries to pull Neville off. Neville just glares a hole at him. He takes Kofi down as well. And he just continues to, like, pick apart Big E in the ring. So, yeah. Big E rushed into things. You know, he said he wanted to take Neville out tonight. But maybe Kofi was right. Maybe he was being too reckless. Then get a quick training video. Daniel Bryan in his gym, I guess, area. The little, like, gym with a ring in it that him and the Creeds and Regal and Charlie Dempsey train at. And Regal and the Creeds do walk in. He goes, "Bryan, here we are. Hate to think it was, 11 years ago when everybody wanted you to win the Royal Rumble match and there was almost riots when you didn't win them. And here we are all these years later, over a decade later, and you're preparing for what is likely your final ever Royal Rumble." He goes, "Regal, every single year I used to vow to these people that this would be the year that Daniel Bryan wins the Royal Rumble and goes to WrestleMania as the world champion. I feel like I've owed them that my entire career after everything they did to me all those years ago. It's the one thing I'm yet to deliver on. This year is the year I get it done. I'm going to win the Royal Rumble. And I'm going to win one last WrestleMania main event. I'm going to win that World Championship. And whoever beats me for it, well, they'll be the man who put an end to the full-time career of Daniel Bryan." Real goes, "Well, talking has never been your strong suit here, Bryan, let's be real. Wrestling is, so you can talk about winning the Royal Rumble all you want, but it's time for us to train and get you ready for it, okay? That's why I brought Julius and Brutus with me. Let's go." And then Bryan, you can see he's got his head in the game, and he gets into the ring and he starts training with the Creeds. And yeah. So there's his statement on winning the Royal Rumble. He's going to do it this year because, well, he's never done it, and we've all been crying for a Daniel Bryan Royal Rumble win. This year could be the last chance. Will it happen? We'll find out. Next week, we have a pretty stacked episode of SmackDown. Following the opening segment, one thing I did forget when I went over that opening segment is that it was announced that Julia will face Kairi on next week's episode of SmackDown. So yeah, there's that match. Fresh off her victory over Io Sky, Julia needs to keep her momentum rolling as she faces Io's best friend, Kairi Sane, in singles action. Plus, also in singles action, following the fight they got into earlier on tonight, Neville will go one-on-one with the New Day's Big E on next week's episode of SmackDown. And then some action in the tag team ranks as Chase U, now officially, chasing tag team gold, go one-on-one with the former tag team champions, Pretty Deadly. And he's got to get himself ready for action for the Royal Rumble. Daniel Bryan will be here next week and he will be in action against an opponent that we have not yet determined. But yes, then moving on to the Royal Rumble, we have new names set for both Royal Rumble matches. For the Men's Rumble, a big threat has entered the field as the Samoan Werewolf, Jacob Fatu, joins Daniel Bryan, Gunther, Drew McIntyre, and his cousin Roman Reigns as the announced field so far. And the Women's Royal Rumble certainly saw a lot of additions tonight. Both Io Sky and Candice LeRae declaring themselves for the Royal Rumble match, as well as Ember Moon. So both fields starting to get a little bit full of big name players. And we're still, 3 weeks away from the Royal Rumble in LA to kick off the road to WrestleMania. 86 rated main event. Sure. The babyface tag team does defeat the Hurt Business in 6-man tag team action. It is Ilya Dragunov who scores the win for his team. He pins Damon Kemp with the H-bomb in 20 minutes and 15. 78 for Ronnie, 71 for Damon, 93 for Ricochet, 82 for Lashley, 82 for Ilya, 93 for Buster, that's really good for him, 91 for Bronson Reed, and 82 for Sami Zayn. So yeah, big win for Ilya. He scores the win for his team, and he stares down Bobby Lashley, like as Lashley holds the World Championship up high. Ilya like glares at him and points at the belt, and that's our image to close the night. 87. Sure. Yeah. SmackDown in the build to the Rumble is going to be like... Well, most of the important people are in the Royal Rumble. But, it's also the build to the Rumble. There's going to be like a lot less, fucking absolute fire, barn burner, cinema shit. Because, again, we're building to the Rumbles. But yeah, there was some stuff that came along nicely on this show. We're doing some stuff with the mid-carders. And yeah, what matters more than what you thought of the show. Don't know what you thought in the comments below. And I'll see you on the other side for Velocity. Velocity kicks off with Oney Lorcan making his way down to the ring. He's got a match with Ashanti the Adonis to kick off the show. And he's... we said that on SmackDown that the Dragon's Dojo were going to rise back up to the top. We came up short in tag team action, but that's not going to stop me kicking ass here on Velocity, and for the first time, becoming the Cruiserweight Champion. I've already proven I can be Heavyweight Champion, now I can dominate this division too. Throw him up. So yeah, Oney Lorcan, he's looking to dominate Ashanti the Adonis, and yeah. It's a 70, okay, I expected a little bit better from that, to be honest, but sure. Oney defeats Ashanti with Flying Blockbuster in 14 minutes and 5. 66 for Ashanti, 63 for Oney. So yeah, Oney, he's always going to have a good place in our heart, for what he was 4 years ago. But yeah, he's looking to come after the Cruiserweight champ. He won't be the next in line, because we have a 5-way main event to determine the next challenger for the championship. But yes, Oney Lorcan staking his claim for a championship goal. Pete Dunne tells him to get serious. Oney's going to take that advice to heart, I guess. David Martin, the Speed Champion, comes out next. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I've already proven that I am the greatest British wrestler of all time. I'm better than your favourite luchador, as I proved last week. I'm better than every single body else who's ever stepped foot in the ring here on Velocity. That includes you, young Leon Slater. I paved the way for guys like you to make it here in WWE and actually feel like you have an opportunity to succeed. You were heralded as one of the greatest prodigies in British wrestling, and I'm so happy that you're here. But you've got to learn the hard way that you don't get into the ring with David Martin and come off better off. So ring that bell and let's see how quickly I can put this one down. Yeah, David Martin. It gets a 70, of course, because it's a speed match. Apparently, it goes 1 minute over 5 minutes. It doesn't. Obviously, he beats him within the... But again, the way I set time limits on this game, it will occasionally go over. Just pretend it didn't. And yes, David Martin defeats Leon Slater in 5:01, I guess, to make tennis number 2 of the WWE Speed Championship. 87 for David Martin, 56 for Leon Slater. Then get Cedric Alexander a backstage interview. And Funaki's there. He says, Cedric, last week you defeated Dudley Davis. Tonight, your next challenger will be determined. Fatal 5-way. Hot challengers. Danger Zone. The Giant Andrew Everett. Javon Evans. Roderick Strong. And who's the other guy? Oh, Hanzo Kaneko. And Cedric goes, ladies and gentlemen, Prime Alexander, the Cruiserweight Classic, did it again last week, proving that there's no Cruiserweight wrestler on the planet on my level. You named 5 guys who are incredibly talented. 5 guys who in any other era could dominate the Cruiserweight division, but not this one, because this is my era, my division. Prime Alexander, I'm in my prime, I'm never leaving my prime. So, line up whichever one of these 5 guys ends up winning this match, and I'll kick their head off and send them packing right back to the bottom of the line, Funaki. Okay, you got me? Great. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's main event time for you to find out who's next in line to lose to Cedric Alexander. That man is Javon Evans. Javon is the one who picks up the win in the match. He pins Andrew Everett in 17:38. 71 for Danger Zone, 50 for Andrew Everett, 77 for Hanzo, 69 for Javon, and 75 for Roderick Strong. So yes, Javon Evans, the former and inaugural WWE Speed Champion, is going to get a shot at the Cruiserweight Championship coming up soon. It won't be next week. Next week we will have the Trios Championship match between the War Dogs and LA Extreme. But yeah, as for now, the Cruiserweight Championship next in line is Javon Evans. And then that ends the show, which gets us 72, whatever, sure, it's Velocity. We're starting to build some new Cruiserweights. Or I guess in Odie's case, revive some old Cruiserweights. But yeah, what matters more is what you thought of the show, mainly of SmackDown. Do leave in the comments below, and I'll see you next time for Raw, the second Raw on Netflix, where we're going to hear from the new Intercontinental Champion, John Cena. See you then.